never does what I tell her to do. I said, don't introduce me. It's so good to be back. I know most of you don't know that I was gone.
Yes, people notice.
But, you know, we had a hard time leaving town. Stella and I get to the airport at 4 in the morning, or we left at 3, and they canceled our flight. Thank God we got the PLC. Oh, God. So we put in mine right now, and we had to wait there. They canceled the flight because of mechanical problems. So rather than say, we learned this, you know, we build the enthusiasm, rather than say, why is this happening to me, or to us, what did I do? What do we say? Why is this happening for me? So we looked at each other, and at noon we got on the plane after sitting there for 6 hours. And Stella looked at me and said, well, it's better than being 36,000 feet in the air and dropping out of the sky. Then we get to Phoenix, and what happens? Another 4 hours. We had a hard time getting to Milwaukee, but we got there. Anyway, we're here. It's so glorious to be here in this atmosphere of love, bringing forth this new theme for May. Is this May? June. Enthusiasm. You know, and I thought about that, and I went, gosh, what am I going to do with this? I can't rely on old notes. And I think they did on purpose. I got to think, you know, when I was in the Marines, I had this booklet that I carried with me all the time. And I don't know if you're a youngster and you're in the Marine Corps, you have a tendency to be overwhelmed sometimes and get in the fear and all. But I had this booklet that was put out by a guy named Richard Scott back in 1928, or 23, it was 1923. And I carried it with me because it provided not only inspiration, but it kind of protected me. And the title was God is My Co-Pilot. How many of you have ever heard of the book, God is My Co-Pilot? And I'll be darned, what I did, it wasn't so much the content of that book that really inspired or protected me, but it was the word itself, God is my co-pilot. So I created a mantra, which I used constantly in those days. So when I was overwhelmed or getting in a fear or losing confidence in myself, you know, when you're 19 or 20, you have a tendency to lose confidence, especially if you have to climb a rope that's 40 feet in the air and do some crazy things. But anyway, and I use it as my God is my co-pilot, God is my co-pilot, and I'll be darned if everything just changed, it's just leveled out. It was really a wonderful experience. And so I find out even to today that shift in consciousness from where we're part of an object, where we're part of a solution in some way. And to this very day when I get pushed out of shape, or if we tend to in PLC and in Emerson Institute push the envelope. Have you noticed it? We're always doing some weird stuff, and we want to experience new stuff and stuff. So when I get to that point where I lose a little bit of confidence, and we do sometimes because we're out there in the unknown, and all of a sudden I use it. God is my co-pilot. God is my co-pilot, and things change. And this happened just recently, and I've got something here which is kind of cool. I sat down with Reverend Sandy not too long ago, actually it was about a month or so ago, and I said, you know, we've got some therapists in our area, and every therapist has to do with continuing education, but they have to do it from a certified, licensed entity. I said, Sandy, why can't we be that entity as Emerson Institute, the Pause Living Center of Central California? So we went online, got all the forms, and we sat down there at her desk, and we said, and we looked at it and we said, rather than be the object of something where we're controlled by something or that we don't have confidence in something, let's bring God into the picture. Let's know. I don't know why. I have this idea that we can actually provide an energy into a thing, and have that energy go. So we prayed on that, and we said, this is God force in action, and we sent the darn thing in, and in record time, I got this just this last week. Congratulations on your approval to offer continuing education for, and I don't even know what half of these letters mean. I don't even know. Continuing education for LMFT, I know what that is, that's Marriage and Family Counseling, isn't it, I guess. And LCSW, I guess that's a licensed social worker. LEP, what is that? And LPCC. Well, we're licensed to provide special continuing education by the state of California from the Board of Behavioral Science Studies and Sciences. There it is. They say, this mysterious energy, you know, that we call enthusiasm, it comes from the Latin and the Greek. Are you aware of that? God, I'm screaming. Am I talking too loud?
No.
Too soft? Am I talking at all? Anyway, this idea of enthusiasm comes from the Greek and the Latin. And it's entheos. Entheos. It's bringing God into the present moment. It's possessing God, or letting God possess you. It's bringing that divine energy and light that we are into the moment. And so what this enthusiasm about is the outpicturing of this person standing on this platform or anywhere, having the light of that perfection of God shining through whatever the work is. Isn't that cool? And we all do that. We can do that. I know our practitioners do it. When they're standing forth, if somebody comes forward and says, you know, I need a healing. And of course they immediately think they don't need a healing because they're pure perfection. But their body needs some work. But then they have that light of God shine through their activity. And that's what we call, when we refer to it as enthusiasm. Entheos. There's a kind of an interesting story about that. How we get a transformation of our human consciousness when we go to that idea of being the oneness of who we are and let it shine forth. It has to do with the Miami Dolphin, former coach of the Miami Dolphin, Don Shula. How many know about Don Shula? Don Shula's, his special teams coach comes down with cancer of the bone, and he ends up in the hospital. True story. He ends up in the hospital, and he's lying there feeling sorry for him. We get into that idea that we're an object. We're the result of something that's happening. And so he's lying there, and he's feeling sorry for himself, and he's in fear of what's going to happen next. Don walks in, as a typical coach would, and do what he did. He looked at Mike, and he says, Mike, we have summer training in July, and I expect you to be there. He said, I need you. We're gonna win this next year, and we can't do it without you. And I'm here right now for a commitment. I want you to commit that you're going to be there in July and be part of this team and help us team. Well, Mike is... But he experienced something, and afterwards he explained about it. He said he had a transformation of his consciousness. He went from feeling sorry for himself to and being an object of something to being an empowered warrior of some sort. And he shows up in July, cancer-free. Pretty cool. Clap for him. Anyway, afterwards he said this. He said, I expected Coach Don to tuck me in and to feel sorry for me, and he didn't. He said what he did was he saw me as what I could be and should be, not what I perceive myself to be. That's what we're talking about by embracing God, bringing God into the moment, into the mix, being possessed by God Himself. Do we accept that? Do we agree with that? Absolutely. You're darn right we do. Or else. I had to give a talk Friday at graduation. We had 19 people from all over the Midwest show up in this. And I looked about in the audience, and I had a large office, about a couple of people, and I said, and you know, how many of you are coming to hear me speak on Sunday? And a few raised their hand. I said, well, we're installing mortal sin. If you're not there, you're going to be really sorry. I don't know what got me into that. Now, this enthusiasm is our natural state of beingness. Enthusiasm is a beingness. It's the outpicturing of our true nature. That's what all it is. It's not mysterious. And we're born with it. We are it at birth. And that means that we experience this human experience as a wonderful adventure. And you know, the youngsters, they like to touch things and experiment. And you got to be careful. We had a youngster, was in the newspaper, fall out of an 11-story building. Have you ever heard that? Yeah. And yeah, 11-story building. He went through the fence or whatever it was. And he falls, and people, it was in Japan, I guess, and people down below saw this happening, and the guy went out and caught the kid. Wow. Caught the kid. So we're always experimenting when we're a kid, aren't we? And it's literally God in action. It's kind of cool. I got a story about that. When I was in the school business, we decided to give free hepatitis C shots to our staff. So I'm sitting there in this waiting room waiting for my name to be called. I'm glad Maggie's not here. She doesn't agree with vaccination. She emailed me and she says she's not feeling well. That's why she's not here. So anyway, I can do this. So I'm sitting here ready to be vaccinated. Well, anyway, I'm my paper. I'm looking at the sports page. That's pretty much what I read in the newspaper. And all of a sudden, as I'm sitting there, something or someone comes and goes, whoop, hits my paper, and I've got two parts of my sports page, one in each hand. And I'm looking straight ahead, and what do I see? A beautiful blue-eyed boy, little baby boy. Oh, staring at me, and he's, now, is that enthusiasm and hoping God, you darn right? That person hasn't adopted what we call the perceptions of the conditioned mind. He doesn't know that I'm a big guy. I can swat him one. No, he's there. This is so good. And of course, the mom comes over, and the mom says, "Now, honey, don't irritate the nice man. How does she know I'm a nice man? My paper is torn in half." And what I thought was, this little was birth as a tremendous possibility, a tremendous light, a reflection of all there is, a reflection of that which existed before time and space, and present right now as that little kid. That's what he was doing. That's entheos, invoking God, bringing God into the picture. And as we get older, what happens to us? Gosh, well, our light starts dimming. That light goes down a little bit. And sometimes, you've been around people who they're a dishwasher. Mm-hmm. They're just, and it starts going down, and we wonder, my gosh. And we accept the fact of our conditioned mind that's taken on all these perceptions of who others think we are, people who want us to be like them, vote like them, experience them, be in their image and likeness, and we accept all this stuff. And our light starts going down, going out. But how do we bring it back? How do we bring it back? How do we do that? Well, I think within each of us, we get a little bit fed up with stuff. We get a little tired. We may even get sick. And we sit there and lie there and say, my God, what is this all about? Why do I feel so loudly? Or we get irritated very easily. And so what that is and I resolved this this morning as well, that there's a spiritual impulse in all of us, a divine longing in all of us to evolve in consciousness, to stop being so connected to the physical world, to actually rise above it and to bring that light into our experience. And that's an impulse that we all have. And that's what we're here for, because each of us, we're part of a song. That's what we are. We're a song. And each of us is a note in that song. And it's a unique note. And how we play our note does what? Affects the entire song. And that's why they call it a universe, a one verse. And so we're here to shun sunshine and to make sure that our note is pure. And it's the expression of God itself. That's what enthusiasm is all about, that divine impulse. Stella and I had a very good opportunity once to watch Don Rickles, the comedian Don Rickles. We went to his shows. And here's this guy, he's 81 years old. He's been at this, making people laugh for 50 years. And he said, I was born in a family where we're not too well off. But I discovered something when I was really young. I discovered that I kind of like to see people laugh and smile. And he says, the more I thought about that, the more I followed that, the better I became.